Babe of the day. Babe of the day. Anita Barone. The first wife of Jeff Foxworthy on the Jeff Foxworthy Show, and the best one. She starred as Karen Foxworthy in the short-lived sitcom's first season from 1995 to 96. Anita actually has a bunch of acting credits, but her work on the Jeff Foxworthy Show was my favorite. She was a bright spot on the show for the entire first season. Unlike a lot of TV wives, Karen Foxworthy was not a pain in the butt for her husband. At least, not Anita's Karen Foxworthy. The season 2 version? Different story. Acting was always Anita's thing, and she was good at it. Her first role was in a little-remembered crime film called The Rosary Murders. Although she's had some parts in theatrical films, TV would become her main medium. Anita's first big thing was being a series regular on Carol and Company from 1990 to 91. I remember this series. It was sort of like a new version of the Carol Burnett show with a twist. Instead of being a variety show, each half-hour episode was a standalone skit. The show featured a lot of other people like Jeremy Piven, Richard Kind, Megan Fay, and Terry Kaiser. Anita was in a good project, but it didn't last. In 1991, Carol Burnett switched off to an updated version of the Carol Burnett show, and after a few months, that was it. In 1994, Anita played the first Carol Willick on Friends. She was the first wife of Ross Geller, played by David Schwimmer, who became a lesbian. After one appearance, Anita left the role because she wanted to pursue something that was more full-time. She was replaced by Jane Sibbett. Jane played the character for 15 episodes through 2001, and even when the character didn't appear, she was an often mentioned source of comedy in the show. Ross is often teased about turning Carol gay. In hindsight, professionally, this role could have been a good thing for Anita Barone. However, I like what she did next much better. Jeff Foxworthy was a big deal in the 1990s. He had been a successful stand-up comedian and was the true start of the whole redneck comedy craze that held strong for at least 3 decades. Jeff had recorded hit albums and wrote popular funny books. Naturally, he was given his shot at a sitcom. ABC started the Jeff Foxworthy Show in 1995. I liked this show, but I will admit, I was a little surprised at how Jeff was presented in the show. He was toned down considerably and made the straight man. I guess the obvious thing to do with a series lead is to make him a straight man. But when you heard his stand-up at that time, or read his books, you expected him to act a bit wilder. No, his character is pretty mild. He was sitcom funny, but tame. Jeff played a fictional version of himself who ran a heating and air company. He initially had 2 employees, a young guy and an old guy. Jeff and his wife Karen, played by Anita, had a young son named Matt. Jeff had moved up from the South to Bloomington, Indiana, and he was surrounded by lots of northern people. To a degree, this was a fish-out-of-water comedy. The show was good, but it struggled from the jump. They tried to add new elements to the series, but ABC gave the show trouble every step of the way. They didn't like it because it was too southern for their taste. The whole subplot of Karen becoming pregnant was added, along with a bigger company trying to force Jeff out of business. Jeff and his wife worried about going to the poorhouse. That is until Jeff's crazy brother Wayne enters the picture. Jeff's business turns around and everything is on the upswing. Then ABC canceled the show. Shortly after Wayne was brought on the show, his sex-bot Cajun girlfriend Dee Dee Landreau was introduced. I liked how Anita's character of Karen interacted with Dee Dee. At this time, Karen was very pregnant. She was initially very cold towards Dee Dee, partly because Dee Dee was sexed up and not pregnant, but mainly it was a difference in personalities. Dee Dee was a bit more extroverted than Karen and let her opinions on everything be known. Karen didn't think too much of Dee Dee's take on her Peppa. It wasn't long, though, before she and Dee Dee became friends. Had the show continued in this format, I think these two characters could have had a lot of stories together. When the show was brought back on NBC, it was almost entirely changed. Only Jeff Foxworthy and Haley Joel Osment, who played Matt, were kept on as regulars. This was a mistake. Ann Cusack was cast as Karen Foxworthy, and, not to be mean, but she just didn't do as good of a job. Anita's Karen sparkled. Ann's Karen was a whiny pain in the butt. I guess that's what the showrunners wanted to do, but it was clearly a mistake. The second season of the show had little to do with the first anyway. The Jeff Foxworthy show got really good in the first season, especially in the later episodes with Wayne, and should have carried on in that format. Anita did such a good job that she deserved a long-running sitcom. After that, it was mostly smaller roles until she got another sitcom in 2000 with Daddio. She played the wife of Michael Chiklis. The show did not do very well, and only lasted from March to October of 2000 for 2 very short seasons. 18 episodes were made, but only 9 were aired. This was another case of a show being canceled due to low ratings, but people actually liking it. The Jeff Foxworthy show had suffered the same fate. Daddio was nominated for several awards, and actually won some. In Daddio, Anita played a lawyer who was becoming busier and more prominent. To compensate for this, her husband gave up his job to become a stay-at-home dad to their 4 children. After Daddio, Anita's next big role was in the sitcom The War at Home. This actually was successful for a little while, and ran for 2 full seasons from 2005 to 2007. Once again, she was a wife and mom, playing opposite of Michael Rappaport. Michael's character was an insurance salesman, and Anita played a part-time receptionist at a doctor's office. They had 3 kids. It was a straightforward sort of sitcom, but Michael's character was purposely meant to be obnoxious. Once again, Anita played the straight woman, but she could be obnoxious herself when she had to be. This show was also nominated for several awards, and Anita herself received a lot of praise for her role. From 2010 to 2013, Anita played Georgia Jones on the Disney Channel sitcom Shake It Up. It was a recurring character, but she appeared frequently. In this show, she played the mother of the 2 main characters. She was a divorced police officer who was very strict and intimidating. This was a sharp departure from Anita's first 3 regular sitcom roles, but it was a different character and she was good at it. Since then, Anita has still been acting, but hasn't been doing quite as much. I'd like to see her get another regular role, because I know she'd be good at it. In 2000, Anita married the actor Matthew Glave. They have 2 daughters. In the Shake It Up series, Matthew appeared twice as Anita's ex-husband. Anita Barone deserves to be more well-known than she is, but she's still a successful actress with a lot of acting credits to her name. For her role as Karen Foxworthy, though, she will always be a Babe of the Day, Babe of the Day,